Hey y'all, and welcome to Monner's Market, and welcome to the Try It Tuesday challenge. I love this challenge, and I try my best to participate in it every month. This challenge is where we find other creators and we recreate something that they have done. And Sammy over at Unicorn Dust Designs is the one who is over this, and I absolutely adore her. She's a good friend of mine and my mentor, and I get excited every time we work together. So let's get into my project. So for DIY number 1, I have these cute little round boxes that Dee made over at She's So Crafty. We took these 3 little boxes from the Dollar Tree, and the one that you see right there had a little boo-boo on the bottom. So I just took some super glue and patched it up, and you couldn't even tell that anything was wrong with it whenever I was finished with it. Now for Dee's, she used the buffalo plaid fabric that you can get at the Dollar Tree, and I do have some somewhere. Lord only knows where it's at. But while I was looking for it, I found this HTV. Now, HTV is heat transfer vinyl. Normally, you would iron it onto something. And my first thought was to Mod Podge it onto my little boxes. Well, about the time I went to Mod Podge it on, I looked over and my heat gun was just sitting right there. And I thought, I wonder if I heat it up, if it will get sticky and stick to it like glue. And doggone if it didn't work perfectly. So that saved me a lot of time, a lot of effort, and made this super duper easy. And I was tickled to death that I kind of figured out something by accident, honestly. You know, that's what we call a happy accident. So I just pieced my little pieces together until I got all 3 of my boxes covered. And once I got the boxes covered, then I started on the lids. Now, when we did the lids, what I did was just followed exactly what Dee did over at She's So Crafty. And also, I will have a link to everybody that I am recreating from today, to their channel and to the video that inspired me to do my crafts down in my description box. So back to my crafts. Whenever I finish getting my fabric, it is fabric, but like I said, it's HTV. Whenever I finished getting it wrapped around all 3 of my little boxes, I was ready to move over to the tops. And the way we did the tops, this is what they look like before I moved to the tops. The way we did the tops was we took these fat craft sticks, popsicle stick, whatever you want to call them. I get these from, I believe it's Walmart for, I think, like 98 cents. And I took the Antique Wax by Waverly and just stained them and let them dry. I wish I would have stained them on both sides because it would save me some time, and I'll show you what I mean here in just a few minutes. So once I got my sticks painted and let them dry, I lined them up and I placed the lid on top of it and just drew a circle around the lid, and that gave me my little pattern to be able to cut out my sticks. Now these are super soft and you can cut them with your scissors. I would not recommend using your best scissors because it will dull your blades. So I took the craft sticks and just continued to cut them out and placed them on top of my box. Now I'm using my wood stick hot glue, and simply because it was sitting right beside me, but it really had a super, there goes my tongue, super strong hold whenever I was putting it on there. Sometimes with hot glue you can sort of shift things around, but not with this wood glue. It just like sticks amazingly. So as you see, I took a popsicle stick and used it for my measurement as to how far apart I wanted to cut the little pieces for the side. And then you just take it and you just start placing it all around the side, and it gives it like the most rustic wood feel, and it's just absolutely adorable. I love watching Dee craft. Like, she just blows my mind. at the things that she comes up with. I would have never in a million years thought to do this to these boxes, but these are probably some of the cutest things ever. Now, as you can see, because I didn't paint both sides, I needed to go back in with my Waverly's Antique Wax and just go over the parts that were still raw wood and just cover them really good. But that was super easy to do, and it actually darkened my wood up a little bit more, and I loved it. Now, these little handles right here I got from Home Depot for 98 cents, and I think they are just absolutely adorable. Now, I did screw them to my lids, but I did not do that on camera. What I had to do is take a really fine little drill bit and make me a pilot hole in my top. And the reason you want to use a super fine drill bit is because it will not chip and tear your wood nor your top. Look how cute those little handles are, and they were, like I said, 98 cents. So anyway, once I got my handles placed on top of my boxes, that's all there was to it, and they were done, and they just could not have turned out any cuter. So I would love to know what you think about my recreation of Dee's round boxes down in the comments below. If you are new to my channel and you've never been to my channel before and this is your first time, my name is Brenda, but my grandkids call me Monner. Now that is mine and Dee's version side by side, and this is what mine turned out like. I love them. I think they turned out adorable, and they were very, very close to Dee's. And like I said, her video will be linked below along with her channel. Let me know what you think about the job I did on these cute little boxes. Look how cute those handles are. So stinking adorable. Now let's get into DIY number 2. For DIY number 2, I am recreating this little sign that Natalie Callahan did over at Design to the Nines. She is another favorite of mine, and I love watching her craft. Now, everything I'm using here, well, not everything, but the top and the bottom came from the Dollar Tree, and the 2 little middle pieces came from Hobby Lobby, and I will link everything down in my description box below in case you're interested in maybe buying some. I'm going to go back in with this same antique wax and bring out the wood grain in this wood. Now, that little piece right there I had used before, and it was painted black. So what I did is just tried to sand it off as best I could. I couldn't get it all off, but what I did to fix that is whenever I finished staining all of my wood, I took some of the black chalkboard paint from, I believe I got it from, yeah, it was the Dollar Tree. And I just went over my wood and then wiped it back down like I did the antique wax, and it darkened up that brown, and it actually turned out prettier than I thought it was going to turn out. So I'm kind of glad that that happened that way too. But once I got that done, there's the chalkboard paint from the Dollar Tree. Once I got that done, all I had to do was place my little candlesticks on the base. Now, all I did was use the hot glue, the wood stick hot glue, to place it on there, and I got my measurements to find the middle, placed it on there. No, you know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. Before I did that, I put my little design on it. Now, Natalie put Hello Fall on hers, and I thought that was adorable, but I wanted to use mine every day. And I am a new chalk couture designer. If you haven't been to my channel yet, if you have, you already know I'm obsessed with chalk couture. There will be links down below if you're interested in anything that you see today. So I took this one little transfer out, and right in the middle you'll see Thankful and Blessed, and it's got these cute little leaves beside it. Well, I didn't want to use the leaves, but that's the beautiful thing about chalk couture is you can pick and choose anything that you want to off of these transfers. You don't have to use the whole thing. And then the one that I put on top of it is from our French Country Minis, and it's just the bee, and I think it's, what is that, like a Victorian style frame around it. So I took my bright white paste and I just filled in the thankful and blessed, and I filled in, or chalked as we say, the top little piece. And then you pull it off slow. It's going to look like I'm yanking it off like a Band-Aid here, but you do want to pull it slow so you don't stretch out your transfer. And then I was ready to put it on my base. So I just kind of find my middle, and then I hot glue my first little candlestick down, and the other candlestick fit perfectly on top of this one. I believe she only used the one tall piece that I'm going to put on top of this one here, but I wanted my sign just a little bit taller than hers. She also, if I remember right, used a square bottom, and this was just a wood base that I already had on hand. So I got everything glued down, and once I got it glued in place, I was done and tickled to death at how this turned out. I think it looks super high end, and I would probably pay a good $15 for that in any little craft store anywhere. And I love, love, love the way it turned out. There's hers and mine together, and here is mine. So be sure to let me know down in the comments below what you think about how my version turned out. Look how beautiful that chalk couture is. It's so hard to mess up, and like I said, I'm totally obsessed. If you're interested, again, the links are down in my description box as to where you can either join to be a designer or just simply buy anything that they have, and they have some gorgeous things. You're welcome to message me too if you have any questions about it. So let's get into my last DIY after I show this off for just a second more. Look how pretty that turned out. Like, it truly is beautiful. So for my last DIY, I am recreating these candlesticks that Kelly Barlow created, and she actually did these 2 years ago. Now I am using different candlesticks. She used the clear candlesticks that you can get from the Dollar Tree, and I am using these ceramic candlesticks that you can get from the Dollar Tree, and it's simply because I have so many of these sitting around, and I just wanted to give it, my own twist and use these candlesticks. Now I did use E6000 to put them together. You definitely want to use E6000 or some other really strong hold glue. You don't want to use hot glue because it's going to fall apart on you, and then you're going to end up breaking everything. So as you see, I did one and then put two together and then three together, and this is what it looked like before. After I got it done, I used my painter's tape and went up 2 rows just to give myself like a little guideline of where to put my strip of tape, so that whenever I sprayed my candlesticks, I sprayed a little bit at the bottom. I would say probably about maybe 2 inches, 1.5 inches, something like that. And then I removed my little pieces that were my guide. And I did that for all 3 of them so that they were all exactly the same where my paint would come up at. Once I did that, I took a piece of paper, wrapped it around my glass so I didn't have the overspray everywhere and have a ton of cleanup, which is really not hard to clean up, but my Lord, we got to work smarter and not harder. So I took them outside, and here in Florida, it didn't take them long at all to dry, and I used this Smokey Beige Rustoleum 2X paint. I gave them 1 coat of paint, and I want to say there was like a couple of little spots that I had to go back and touch up, and that's what they looked like whenever they were dry. So a few hours later, when they were like good and completely dry, I brought them back inside. I removed my paper and my tape. Look at that crisp, clean line. I love, love, love it. Once I brought them back in, I got that same antique wax, and I just kind of went all over with a really wet brush and antiqued them up, or distressed them, or whatever you want to call it. Now I was definitely going for that old rugged, rustic, worn, I don't know what else to call it, look. Now right there where my glass and my candlesticks come together, you can see a couple of little gaps. So what I did to resolve that is I took some twine from the Dollar Tree and I wrapped it around right there where they come together. And then also on the sticks that have 2 and 3 candlesticks, right there where they come together, I put a piece of twine around it. Now I didn't put a bow in those spots. I only put a bow at the top of each little candlestick. And once I did that, I was done. Like, how much easier could this have been? And actually, Kelly did hers about 2 years ago, so this is a throwback. And I just happened across hers when I love watching her, and just happened across her video, and I thought, oh my goodness, I've got so many candlesticks out there and so many of those vases, and I knew I could recreate this and it would be perfect for Sammy's Try It Tuesday. So do be sure to let me know down in the comments what you think about my candlesticks and my version. Also, there is going to be a playlist listed below, so be sure to go down to that playlist and see what everyone else has created for you today. But definitely leave me a big thumbs up if you like what you've seen today. This is how mine turned out, and I am so in love with these candlesticks. If you're not subscribed to my channel, I would be completely honored and tickled to death if you would become part of Monter's Market's little family. And if you're already subscribed to my channel, thank you so much for your support. It means everything to me. Now I am going to hush and let you see my final reveal. But before I do, I just want to say thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you, and your support means everything in the world to me. So do be sure to subscribe, like, comment, let me know what you think. Now let's look at my final reveal. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. God bless you. Bye now.